Hey, Anton.
Yeah, Margaret?
You know people don't talk about enough?
What?
Is there something inherently Swedish about killing the main character's sibling with a car? Because we're 2 for 2 right now. Welcome to People Don't Talk About Young Royals. I'm Margaret. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Anton. My pronouns are he, they. So, Margaret, what are we talking about today?
Today we'll be discussing A Part of You, the 2024 Netflix original movie, including Young Royals actors as Agnes and Noel.
Since this is a bonus episode unrelated to the plot of the show, we don't really have much of a disclaimer for you. However, we promise that any mention of Young Royals will not spoil anything where we are at past where we currently are in this week's Hilarious episodes. At this point, we have summarized through season 1, episode 5. You've been warned. Even though we already spoiled.
Yeah, we already did spoil, but...
So, hey guys, we're in it now.
Okay. It was a good movie. I liked the movie a lot. I think everybody's acting was really good. Do I know what happened? Absolutely not. I think I need to... And this happens to me a lot in movies. I think I need to watch this movie about 6 more times to know what happened.
I do think I have it somewhere in my notes, but I do think this actually would be an interesting movie to at least watch again one more time, because it does have that twist.
Yeah.
That look like it's a good twist in the sense that I could see it. I knew something was wrong, and it made sense in hindsight.
Yeah.
But you don't know it at the start of the movie, and so you're just like,
yeah. Are we talking about the suicide twist?
Yeah. Yeah.
It made it sound like an ice cream flavor.
God. Oh my God.
Sorry.
It's but it it's left a little vague. We don't know.
I appreciated the open ending a lot more than I normally do in movies.
I would say that, yes. Yes.
Because normally I find open endings, and maybe this is just something that American media hasn't quite nailed, but I often find open endings just sort of like, what did I waste the last 90 minutes of my life for then? But this one I quite enjoyed.
Yeah. I ultimately, I sat with it for a second, because I feel, I think I really am split on open endings a lot of the time. They do need to be executed well, and I think what distinguishes this for me is that it still allowed me to achieve catharsis.
That I think is fair.
Hi there, listeners. Editing Anton here, coming in to say that Margaret had a bit of audio issues with the very beginning of this episode that, if I did my job right, you hopefully won't pick up. But they took just long enough for us to entirely forget the thread of what we were talking about before. So we just got right into our notes and left this previous conversation topic behind. I couldn't find a way to make it flow naturally, so I'm just coming in here to say that's why we're just basically starting up a new topic with no segue. Consider this the transition. My very first note is just that it's crazy how being so Young Royals pilled makes it easier to follow Swedish. For me.
That's fair.
There's something that Young Royals has done to me with the Swedish language that...
And you know what? I think I found the opposite. I think I realized that I didn't understand what the Swedish was, and I had memorized the closed captions.
Ah... I mean, I don't know Swedish necessarily, but there's certain sounds.
Certain words that you were like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know how much, I would imagine there are different parts of Sweden where accents would make it hard. And it's not like I didn't use English subtitles. Let's not be very clear about that. But I don't know, from the very first scene, it was only slightly jarring, and then a few people said thank you, and there might have even been an I'm sorry in there somewhere, where it was where I'm picking up enough little words, and it's frequent DM sender into plot, Natasha says, is that like it's very common in Sweden to just insert English words in places. So it's like, and like, so like they're like the shape of things oftentimes like can feel familiar, but it's interesting that wasn't a universal thing.
Well, frequently in my day-to-day life I am learning how stupid I really am, so that sounds sad. It's not. I just get humbled a lot. But yeah, no, that definitely made me realize that I had just watched Young Royals enough to have it memorized.
I mean, we were not in any way going in chronological order, so do you want to talk about your cold open? See where we go from there?
I mean, what else is there to say?
Yeah.
Her sister gets in a car drunk.
Yeah.
It looks like an accident, but is maybe not.
Yeah.
And then dies.
Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, one note I did have with my like general stuff, it was like with only Young Royals as my barometer, and with like I think like Edvin and Lisa have like said in various interviews about like Swedish stories.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this felt very a part with Swedish stories, as like Lisa especially like has described them. Like Lisa has often just said like Swedish story, like the Swedish people like to write sad stories. Like,
yeah, which is right up your alley. You also like a bit of emotional damage in your stories.
Yeah, I think I didn't know, like, despite how like ferociously I love Young Royals, I didn't know how I was gonna vibe with this movie.
It was good,
but like I just knowing the premise going in, like, as much as I like say that like I really love angst, there is a certain like level of bleakness to a story that will eventually reach my limit and cause me to tap out. And this movie did similar to it is nothing like Young Royals, but like it does walk a similar tone line of Young Royals. I mean, it sits probably even more, I think, on the depressing side of that spectrum, but like it does just sit there.
Yeah.
With like, there is growth out of the pain, and we have, and I don't think I might have sat through this if it were longer, in fairness. Like,
I think that's a fair assessment.
Like, this movie got to go places because it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, if this had been like a 2 hour, like a 2.5, like if this was like Oppenheimer length film, I think I might have tapped out and been like, "Oh, sorry, we're not recording the pod."
Yeah, like I like, I mean, like,
because it was a lot emotionally, but in a good way, I think.
Yeah, like everyone's performances were fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, stellar cast,
incredible acting.
I mean, shout out to Felicia and Edvin.
I mean, the whole cast, but them as well specifically.
No, yeah. I mean, we forgot to do the thing where we started a new episode type and forgot to explain what the hell we're doing here.
Oh, we're talking about things that aren't Young Royals, but are from
related
the cast.
To it. Yeah. I mean, and people, it's fairly straightforward. The title is always royal. You get it. But yeah, this is basically our chance of, now that the show is over, keeping up with what people that are Young Royals related do, and providing our thoughts related to that. I really loved getting to see Felicia at her full potential. Like, it's like you get
Yeah.
enough from Stella, and no spoilers, but you get enough from Stella throughout the whole show that, like, you know she can act. Like,
Right.
it's very, very obvious. But, like,
Right.
actually getting to see her attack a, like, capital R role.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I agree. Because we see a bit of Stella, but we see a very, like... Stella isn't a shallow character, but she's a shallow person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, we see glimpses of her. Like, it is really interesting, like, as a Young Royals lover, to watch this, because with their, like, place in the narrative, Felicia and Edvin are essentially flipped. Like, we follow Agnes as much as you would follow Wilhelm if this was...
Yeah.
in especially, like, early Young Royals. But, like...
Yeah. I also don't think you could get more polar opposite roles than Agnes and Stella.
That is fair, actually.
So, like, it's just a very wide range of things that she can act. I also never stopped to think about how difficult it would be to act a character who's acting.
Ooh, yeah.
Because you're pretending to be a character pretending to be something. Like somebody else. And so that's just sort of like, you know, those like Russian nesting dolls? It's that, but acting. And I sat there and I was like, that'd be fucking difficult, man.
Yeah. Because also, like, let's stop for a second and think if there was a scene that Felicia was not in. I'm pretty sure there was not. I'm pretty sure she's in the entire movie.
No, I think she's in the entire fucking movie. And if there's a frame where she's not in it, she's about to walk in the room. Like, she was in the entire thing.
Yeah, like, it was from her perspective in much the same way that Young Royals is from Edwin's perspective. A lot of it, like, especially like early on and at various at various times. And it's like, because it's a movie, it's like we never had to pull off perspective because it was just long enough that, like, we could stay on her.
Yeah.
But then, like, in that, it was so interesting to me. Like, again, like, relating this back to Young Royals, because it's where we're coming here, like, coming at it, like, watching a story where Edvin is playing the character who slowly reveals things and being the character that we're not following. Like, the one time I think I was pulled out, like, this is the only other thing besides Young Royals that I've seen Edwin in, and we were saying before we got on mic, like, he's a stellar actor. I lost Wilhelm pretty quickly. Like, I believed him in the role. Like, like, which is honestly somewhat rare for me. Like, it is.
I was worried that I'd be like, what is Wilhelm doing in this? But I didn't have that, like, at all.
Yeah. And it's like, I should have, I think if I had doubts about that, I think I should have had more confidence in Edwin's acting abilities.
It's not that I doubted his acting abilities. I don't at all. I know he's a brilliant actor, but I think it's just because I personally have just watched him in one role
for so long.
For like an infinite amount of times, it seems.
Especially with you rewatching it over and over again. Like, as established at the start of this episode, you've memorized the lines more than the Swedish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I throw that shit on whenever I have any emotion. So
yeah.
Shit affectionate, by the way.
But like the one point that popped up for me is throughout the movie I was sit here being like, when Noel left a scene, my brain was ready to follow him.
That is fair. That is fair.
Like, that was the one thing that I didn't fully escape. Like, I believed that this was another character. This was another person.
Yeah.
But some part of my brain subconsciously was like, okay, so now we're going to see a perspective scene with Noel.
We're like, okay, so now what's he up to? That is fair.
But like, I get what the movie was doing, and that would have actually hurt the movie.
It would have.
But I selfishly then I was like weirdly happy when Edvin got his super emotional scene at the rave, because I was literally finally like, pop off, King. I was like, because I was like, wait, like it's not like he was acting amazing up to that point, and like I was very much like there for him, but like seeing an Edvin character explode is like,
yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a special treat that they gave us.
It's like a reward.
Like he truly bodied that scene.
Yeah, he does. Can we talk about how the mother just like abandoned her only living daughter after her other daughter died?
Yes. Oh my God.
Can we talk about that? Because I was like, I understand your grief, but you've just left your only living child to fend for herself and her own grief.
Yeah.
Like,
and then at the end, like, we don't have time. I get we don't have time, but you're just gonna come thankfully she didn't stay mad at her for too long, but I did start getting actually upset when she was like not recognizing that like your daughter's gone off the rails partly because she's had like zero support system other than her dead sister's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, is nobody, because her dead sister's friends eventually were like, hey, this isn't cool. But I was like, does nobody find issue with the fact that she's trying to look exactly like her older sister? And she's wearing all of her old clothes and like pulling up pictures to do her makeup just like it.
God. Like there was like I could read a bit of initial discomfort, which was how I got like that thing where it's like everything feels wrong, but I don't have the puzzle piece to figure out what feels wrong.
Right.
Like it eventually like became very clear, like just subconsciously being like everyone knows something that they're not telling her. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, we hear it from Noelle at the end where it was like, your sister was a black hole and I spent 3 years trying to make sure she didn't hurt herself.
Yeah.
And it's like, that takes on a new meaning once I don't remember the order. I think she read the texts on her sister's phone after that.
Yes, it was after, because she went home after Noelle blows up at her.
Yeah.
And just kind of tears her sister's room apart. And,
yeah.
And like the way that scene played out, I thought she was actually looking for something, and then it was like, oh, she's just destroying it. Like she's like,
yeah, no, she's just losing her goddamn mind. Got it.
Yeah, but it was like that was the missing piece, which like I don't know, just going to the beginning of the movie, like the way Netflix presents this movie, that's ridiculous. Like it's not ridiculous, but it's so crazy to me. Like that happens with Netflix movies occasionally, but I feel like this is the most egregious it's ever happened, where you go into the movie with the premise that a character shows up. You're like, I know you're not long for this world. Like I know you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Because everything about this movie tells me you're gonna die before I even watched it.
Yeah.
And so like it's like I started the movie with like a broken heart, being like, fuck, we have to watch her sister die. And
you know what's funny is I had somehow avoided every like synopsis of what this movie was, including not reading the like Netflix like little.
Oh, you didn't read it? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I didn't read it. Yeah. So I went in having no fucking clue what was going to happen.
Okay.
And so my genuine reaction was, fuck, where's the car? Oh, shit, it's rolling. Oh, fuck, she's driving the car. She's dead.
I'm glad you had that reaction, because then we can compare notes. Because the literal, like, how does it just, I think I have it up here. I wanted, because if you haven't read it, her older sister is everything Agnes wishes to be. Cool, outgoing, dating Noelle. When the worst happens, someone needs to fill the gap left behind.
Yeah, so I didn't read that before I clicked, like, start or, like, play or whatever the fuck Netflix says to start the movie. I did not read it. So I went in blind and I went, is he dating the wrong sister? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, wait. Oh, dear God. Oh, okay, now he's slept with both sisters. That's never good. Okay, now he's putting together the fact that he's now slept with both sisters. Oh, God. Okay, he's leaving. Oh, wait, she's slamming the door before so he can't leave? Oh, okay, she actually let him leave. Okay. Like, I was really flying by the seat of my pants this entire movie. Which is maybe why I didn't understand it.
That's really, no, honestly, that's really great for you. I don't know if I envy your experience because that sounds like a wild ride.
It was a fucking trip. I was sitting there, I was like eating my breakfast and working on my little jungle puzzle, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta start the movie. And then I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And fans of the pod will know this reference.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about this movie as I did about Midsummer. I knew as soon as it ended that I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I can't make sense of it yet. And I think that's okay.
Yeah. But I stick by the fact that I think this movie would be it would be interesting to rewatch.
I would do it. I don't think I could do it today.
No, definitely not.
Maybe in like a week I'll come back to it and I'll be like, all right, what actually happened here? Where were all the little signs that I just couldn't pick up?
Yeah. Like, and it's like, again, like, is one of the things where it's like, in retrospect, it clicked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me having the little bit of extra knowledge, knowing that Julia was gonna die, I think did help did set me up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think from the very beginning of the movie, I at least, like, I could read that Noelle and Julia were not doing great.
I knew something was up.
Yeah. I was like, this is not a healthy dynamic. And I don't know how or why, but it's not.
Yeah.
Which is honestly props to Julia's actor and Edvin, because they did a successful job of portraying a on the surface perfect couple with just enough cracks to make it suspicious. Like, to an outside observer. Like, yeah,
they really did nail that. I think I started to put together what was possibly wrong when she was arguing with her mother and he goes, "Can I hide in here?"
Yeah.
I think that's when I was like, okay, I see.
Yeah. I think I put it together slightly before that. But again, with the added context that Julia was going to be gone in 10 minutes, like, it helped.
You should have been in my brain for this movie. It was really a wild ride. It was insanity. I was like, there were a few times where I like looked around to be like, y'all seeing this? And then I remembered I was home alone.
Yeah. Which is funny because I don't know if I still believe, like, I wrote these notes immediately after, like, finishing the movie, which is a little bit before, which wasn't as recent as Margaret, because of scheduling things. So I saw this movie like a week ago. So I like scanned through the movie to like refresh my memory or stuff like that before this, but it's a little bit more distant. But like these notes are from then, and I wrote down, like, it was a super like carefully considered story. Like, it did feel like there was a lot of thought put behind it. But I did write, which, like, given what we've been just talking about, it's just funny that I wrote down, it didn't blow my mind, but not all stories have to do that.
That's interesting because my mind is pretty ruptured at the moment.
No, and it's like, I don't know why I was that unfair to the movie. I think I don't like I don't like I was might have been still sitting with the ambiguous ending and needed a bit of time with it, but like, I think it does. It is one of those movies that, like, I did need to sit with it a little bit because like I'm like, wait a second, it actually does say something that I didn't question the main character's motivations for a second. Like, despite how batshit it was, I was like, no, this makes sense, and I don't know.
Which part though? The trying to be your sister, or like?
Yeah, like that is the way her grief manifested. Like it made sense to me, and I don't know what that says about me.
You know, I get it, and it kind of made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, it was one of those things where I was like, how is nobody, like no teacher, no like adult in her life being like, hey, what the fuck's going on here?
I get the vibe.
Because her mom just left.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that I have a hard time ever forgiving in a parent, whether it's a real parent or like a in TV parent.
Yeah. Because then she comes back and is like, who are you? I'm like, well, you left her alone.
What's going on here? Yeah. And it's like, well, what the fuck do you think is going on here? She's probably like 16.
And like I'm on the one hand, like on like a level of grief I can't imagine. Like I get at least from the way that level of grief has been described over and over again in movies, is like the way it like swallows you up. And like, but it's like that is it's fucked no matter how you look at it. Like you can't not make that sense.
I mean, grief can swallow you up, but that doesn't mean you get to abandon your only living child.
Yeah. And it's like, it was like I was already set against the mom because they very clearly establish, which, dang, this dynamic makes more sense in hindsight. Fuck.
Well, okay, elaborate.
Sorry.
I'm not following.
The fact that the mom was showing clear favoritism to Julia, it's because she's walking on eggshells around Julia.
Yeah, her youngest daughter is like a glass child. Do you know what that is? A glass child?
No, I don't.
It's like when you have a sibling who requires more attention, whether it's for like physical health, mental health, has a disability in some way. So another child kind of falls into the background and has to be very self-sufficient. Her youngest, Agnes, becomes like that glass child. She had to like fade into the background to be very self-sufficient because her older sister was very mentally ill.
Yeah.
Maybe an alcoholic? It's unclear.
Yeah. Unclear.
Certainly had issues with drinking because one of the texts said I stopped drinking and that didn't help. But it's unclear whether it was alcoholism necessarily.
Right. Like, there was a degree at least where it's like, whether or not it was actual like substance abuse problems, like she definitely wasn't in control that night.
That night, certainly not.
That night, certainly not. Like
that night, she certainly was not in her most healthy state of mind.
Yeah. Almost total non sequitur, but the fact that happened on a Walpurgis night, I was like the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme, being like, I know, or like the Captain America meme, like I understood that reference.
I like that. Very good.
And the last like YR like Young Royals related note I have is that it's kind of crazy to see a Swedish state school after I only ever have context for private boarding schools in Sweden. That's
funny. I didn't think about that. I just thought, man, that looks like a kind of nice school in a weird way.
It definitely does look like a nice school.
Certainly looks nicer than my high school.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, my high school was nice, but it wasn't.
I will venture that just a sneaking suspicion that Sweden has a better supported education program than
no
US
way,
does.
really?
Yeah.
You're gonna go out on that limb? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, wild. I mean,
Yeah,
you also
that's
got it. You
crazy.
also add on top of the fact it's like it's got that Netflix.
Yeah, they
original
got that
movie
Netflix budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that Netflix budget. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, what is this note of yours that says, "Is that pee alarm real?"
Because there was that scene where he's talking about the pee alarm that was in his underwear. Because he was wetting the bed until 13. Did you miss that?
Oh no, I was. Oh yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
real? Is that a real thing?
setting an alarm to.
No. Because I
like-
used to set an alarm to remind myself to pee because I can't feel my bladder. But he would have, because he was like wetting the bed until like 13 or something.
Yeah.
So he'd had like a alarm by his shoulder with a sensor that went into his underwear to tell him when he was like peeing.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that real?
I mean, that sounds researched, but like that is wild.
I feel like though if an alarm went off in my sleep, that would make me pee more if I was already starting to pee. I think that would cause me to then pee my pants fully.
Also,
I'm looking up alarm for kids wetting the bed.
Yeah, we should talk about your last 3 notes too.
Hold on, I'm looking up bed
Okay.
wetting alarm for kids.
While you're doing that, I do want to say, like, back to like Agnes's grief. Like,
This is horrifying.
so why are you doing it?
This is like some robo diapers. What the hell? This is weird. Okay. Anyways, bedwetting sensor monitors for kids is a thing. They make
I
a loud
imagine it
sound
was.
apparently,
Yeah.
which I feel like would make my bedwetting worse.
But yeah.
So what you want my last 3 points?
I mean, I think with the one thing we have kind of actually really been skirting around, despite the fact that it's like the subject of the entire movie, is just like Agnes's grief and like the way it
My
was
thing
handled.
is she was so grief stricken, she became manic,
Yeah.
which is a very interesting take on grief that I've never experienced.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
she had like what is effectively a manic episode
Yeah.
post sister death.
Yeah.
And the entire time I was like, where's your fucking mother? And then she appeared and acted like she's been here the whole time. And I was like, how long were you gone?
I honestly want to say, like, it's at least weeks, if not months.
Like, because I have a hard time in movies figuring out how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
it's like very clear there's a change of seasons.
I mean, as a theater kid, her mom leaves right before they start the production, and they
Yeah.
are like in tech week when she comes back. So that's given the way that my high school productions work, that's 2 months.
Yeah. So like it's a considerable amount of time to leave your child home alone.
Yeah.
And like I understand her mother was also very full of grief, but like bring your kid with you.
Yeah.
Have your mother come there. Like what the fuck?
And you know what I think happened, and it's the most fucked thing ever. The thing that happened is like Agnes figured out a way to repress and go back to school, and her mom legit looked at that and said, "Oh, she's fine now."
I mean, I guess, but it takes like 2 brain cells rubbing together to figure out
Yeah.
like, oh no, she's just,
Yeah.
faking it.
Yeah. Because it's like her mom stays at home until Agnes, like, I can't remember if she already puts on Julia's top at this point, but like I think it's, I don't think so. I think she literally is just she's just been like, it's like I need to get out of this house kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I really don't know why you interpret that as your daughter doing well.
No, she's very clearly not doing well.
And I get that there's a certain like short-sightedness that comes with being like grieved. It's like it's a very
but you're also a mother.
Exactly. But it's like it's a very young Royals level of like I can't say that I don't emotionally understand what's happening, but it is fucked on so many levels.
Yeah.
But I think with Agnes though, like you said, it is a form of grief I've never seen before, and
yeah,
it was really rendered like very tenderly and empathetically. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
There was really a. I was briefly, honestly, almost scared it would go to this place, but it like didn't. Like it walked this line up to you not knowing where Agnes is coming from, but you're with her the entire time. You're not necessarily like on her side, quote unquote. Like she's not any sort of hero, but she is our protagonist. It's this thing where like, yeah, she's treating everyone around her horribly, but I don't.
It does just enough to make me feel sorry for her, so I'm not ever fully against her.
Yeah.
Even when she says to her drama teacher something like, teaching high school drama is so lame your brother would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Which is harsh, to put it kindly.
There's that point that really hit hard. The other point was when the girl who was in love with her sister, she just calls her out for being in love with her sister, and it was like,
yeah, that was rough.
That was really rough.
That was no good. But even then, I was like, I understand why you're lashing out at everybody around you, so I'm gonna give you a pass.
Yeah. But that's another thing that hurts more in retrospect. Because like we figure out the twist like 10 minutes later, and you're like, oh, that hurts more now.
Yeah.
Do you want to end by once again giving Edwin his flowers?
Oh, always.
Because it's like I can't tell you. So like it's an hour and 40-minute movie, and he's not the main character, so I can't tell you a lot about Noel. But I can tell you I love him, and it's like,
yeah,
is that the Edwin of it, or is it it's what is it?
I think it's both.
It's both.
I think it's the way Edvin plays the character that was written. Yeah,
because it's like it's really interesting, like. With the only the context of him being Wilhelm, I think part of the reason that it helps is like we talked about Agnes being very unlike Stella, but like Noel is not very Wilhelm-like either.
No,
like he's closer to Wilhelm, but like
he's a bit more emotionally intelligent than Wilhelm, that's for sure.
He is honestly just a little bit more normie. Like I don't like he's like in a way that he's chill. Like I don't like he's a chill
He's chill
guy.
And he's very caring forward.
Yeah.
Like he cares very deeply, and that's very obvious. Where on occasion Wilhelm will do things that are not that, because he's trying to live up to other people. Like, he's trying to live up to what other people want, and in doing so can inadvertently hurt the people around him. That is very clearly not the case for his character in this. Yeah,
like Noel, like again, I think I would understand Noel better knowing the twist at the end, because it's like he's kind of been parentified with his own girlfriend. Like, yeah, and that's got to be rough. Yeah. And I've never had a girlfriend. I've certainly never had a girlfriend that I've had to be a parent of, but I can't imagine what that would be like. If this is 3 years, that's from age 15 to 18. Yeah. Yeah. Like a child himself, baby, and having to make sure your girlfriend doesn't do something that's very permanent. Yeah. I can't imagine. Yeah. But even like before we learned that night where
Agnes gets really drunk and like can't bike home, and she just like leaves her bike. And then they like show a shot of her walking, and in the background you can see somebody, you can't tell at the time, but it's obvious who it is, walking the bike, and he doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything. He just walks the bike behind her, and eventually they go into the house together. But like,
yeah, he's a thoughtful human.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I have all the empathy in the world for Wilhelm, but also like with Noelle specifically, like this boy did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And I think we need to talk about the romance of it just briefly, at least, because it was
Dude,
weird.
I was worried she was gonna get the matching tattoo that her sister and him had. There was a split second where she was looking at the picture of it, and then there was that moment where she like touches it with their finger, with her finger, like after they sleep together. And I was like, no, wait a minute. Wait, no. Is she gonna get that tattoo? And then it like, that situation blows up, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad that happened, because I was really worried she was gonna get that tattoo.
Yeah, I do think the movie plays around with like, I've never really dreaded a kiss more. Possibly. Like, it was one of those things where it's like,
it's very sexual of you.
But like, but also like, that wasn't the only feeling I was experiencing. I was in a place as an aloe person of being like, romance tropes work on me. Like it was because I read, it's like, it's for me, it feels only natural. It's natural to me. Like, I see romantic tension and I want it fucking broken. Like I want, like it's suspenseful, but like, it's the first time that I feel like a movie has really played with that suspense in a way that bordered on like horror suspense. Like,
are you feeling pretty edged throughout this movie?
Because it was like,
calm down.
But
I'm kidding. You don't have to calm down.
Like,
I just let you might hyperventilate.
Do you get what I mean though? Like it's like we were moving closer and closer, and I was like,
yeah.
I mean, I use this metaphor often, but it feels very apt often, is like, it's a train wreck in slow motion of just like,
yeah,
this is not going to go well.
No. And it didn't.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to hold him hostage for a second.
God.
I wish you had been inside my brain when I was watching this movie, because it was a wild ride for 90 minutes. It was insane.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to happen in the next 5 seconds. I got to the end of the movie and I was like, that's it? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on.
It was this movie was ambiguous for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I'm not the only one who asked this question, because it was frequently answered on Google when I was initially looking up the movie before I even watched it. Was the question of, do Agnes and Noelle get together?
And you know what? I hope they don't. And not just because I'm asexual, but because I just want them to be bros.
They do deserve to be bros.
I think they'd be really good bros. Because I feel like there's a lot of baggage there that I don't know
either of them
could ever be a great relationship.
Because it's like,
you have a matching tattoo with my dead sister.
Like, even with distance, you're just like, you can't erase
right
that this is how you know each other.
Yeah.
In this history,
but
that you
like,
have with each other.
For bros, that's like a really good bonding, you know?
Yeah.
For a relationship, it's rocky ground at best, but for bros, that's good bonding.
Yeah. And like
I do
appreciate, and like you don't think about it too much because it's like the movie is almost over. It's like we're wrapping up things up, but like I do like how everyone kind of seems to kind of just like I feel like she must have just come into school with an energy, being like,
yeah, everybody was like, oh, she's on the mend,
or on the mend, or like I think to an extent like it had to have been like after the rave that like Noelle thought about it. She's like, oh shit, she didn't know.
Yeah. I bet you he like went home and was like, fuck.
Like he like replayed
Okay.
the look on her face over and over again, and he's like,
yeah,
oh.
and then finally like put it together, be like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think she comes in with an energy being like, oh, she knows now.
Yeah, and everybody's like, okay, we're working through this now.
Yeah. Okay.
I do appreciate how he showed up for her in the play.
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet.
That was sweet, yeah.
But I still do just want them to be bros.
And I don't know. I am kind of a sucker for someone.
I know you love a
thing.
romance plot.
Well, no. Well, I'm talking I'm talking about the acting bit of like someone doing the same monologue. Like we saw the same monologue like 3 times, like in full, and like honestly, hats off to Felicia because it's like half the time I find that cringe and half the time I find it really impactful. And this was impactful.
This was good. They nailed it.
I do think nothing really compares though to the time she's doing it in the just like the table read.
That was good.
When he's like dig down deep, and all of a sudden she like does, and it was like ooh.
Yeah, I was like, ouch. Okay.
And like it is like raw and like less sophisticated acting than she does at the end of the movie, but it is like from an emotional standpoint, like it does hit harder. Where you're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck was that play? I don't know.
I don't know.
If it's a common play, like let us know. But
chime off in our DMs if you know what the hell that play was.
Yeah, like
so I'd love to know what the plot of that was.
Yeah, we're not going to do a flood about this, but like, I'm curious. My like one last thought. How fucked do we really think it is that no one told her about her sister?
Well,
like it's one of those things where it's like I get why it didn't happen.
Yeah, how do you break that ice?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because when her sister was alive, it can feel like a betrayal of trust. It can feel like a betrayal after she's died as well.
And at which point, and how do you come to the conclusion that could this make it better? Like, how could this possibly make it better?
Right. How could this possibly make it better? And also, how, like, you also, like, they can infer and they can assume that it was suicide. But there is also the chance of like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive and I am drunk. Oops. You know, like there is also that chance. Does it seem likely? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't know that I would tell her. You know?
Yeah.
Because in some ways, I do think it's a bit more comforting to hold on to the image you have of a person in your head.
Yeah.
And who they were to you.
The only thing in this movie specifically that, like, I think it just had to happen the way it happened at the end of the day. But also, like, I as a viewer was like, everyone around me is acting weird. Like being from actor's perspective, like by the end, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like I wasn't like, I don't know if I was completely like mind blown but like I felt a little like I knew I was missing something, and I knew, and it's like that also is a feeling that I think I want to argue contribute at least partially to the levels that she went to.
Yeah.
But again, like there was no
yes.
other way this was going to play out. But it was like it is.
I don't feel she would have gone to the bordering on obsessive levels of trying to be her sister if she had had a fucking support system.
Right.
So I'm still gonna bring it back to her mom just fucking abandoning her.
That's fair.
And that's just me speaking my truth.
And I'm not like, and again, like this is literally just like the point. I'm just stating the point of the movie, but I'm just like, and it's like no one else was in Agnes's head, and so it's like she's a very. The thing is, she's a very internal character, honestly. Like she, like again, I mean, it's another like shout out to Felicia. Like it's a very like, it's a. I mean, she's Wilhelm's levels of internal, and it's like I get, but I got it. Like I understood.
Yeah.
Like, and it's but it's like a huge part of this is that she understood Juliet to be this perfect being who was like snuffed out too soon, and it's like, she wouldn't be trying to emulate her if she understood this is a cliche phrase, but like the darkness that like was underlying the persona that she believed about her sister. Like,
yeah, for sure.
There was really no way for this to not end with us with a contemplative like silence.
Yeah.
That's the movie we signed up for.
Yeah. I look forward to watching it again to see if I can actually understand it while it's playing.
Yeah, I also think that enough the characters were thrown at us at the beginning. I think having watched the movie once, I'll actually keep track of people a bit better too. But
I also, one thing about me is I have horrendous facial recognition. So I will latch onto one feature and that will be how I remember who is who.
Yeah.
For the entire time of the movie where both sisters were alive, I was like, who's who? Hold on. Who just died? Wait a minute. What the fuck is happening? So I think that fed into
the confusion.
Part of my just like flying at the seat of my pants because I didn't know who was who for the first 10 minutes of the movie.
That is,
because I was like,
I mean, the casting was really good, like in terms of them looking like sisters.
Yeah.
I think again the fact that one of them is an actress I knew and the other one is an actress I didn't know helped me.
Yeah, it did help me.
Yeah.
But I have such bad facial recognition I could not describe to you what my mother looks like.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad we're talking. So like that's just a thing that So it was a wild ride for me. It was good though. It was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was
a good movie.
A crazy experience.
Yeah. I'm still just living in that montage of them of Noelle and Agnes getting closer and closer and just me being like, I'm just like biting my nails figuratively, but being like,
I saw it coming and I was like, oh God, oh no, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Because it was because it's like again like the movie is like this is why I say like the movie is like very carefully considered because I'm just like yeah that was gonna happen.
It had to happen. But it happened and I was like fuck.
Yeah, it's like me going in, especially me going in a movie like knowing Julia was gonna die. They had chemistry before she was dead, and I was like, oh no.
Well, yeah. Because there was the popcorn bucket. Yeah. And I was sitting there and I was going, ooh, shit. And then and I was like, damn, over some kernels too.
Yeah, because like even before then, we had all of the classic communication like movie tropes to being like, oh, you're in love with your sister's boyfriend, or
yeah. I mean, one of my first notes was, is he dating the wrong sister?
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, but I think in the end, like there's having chemistry, and then there's what actually happened, which was trauma bonding. And
yeah, and then it's conflating the two.
Yeah.
Being like, we've bonded, does that mean we're in love? And it's like, no, not necessarily. Sometimes it just means you're bros now.
And then I'm going to be on your side being like, this wouldn't have happened if her mom was home.
No, it wouldn't have.
She would have had anybody else.
Literally, she wouldn't have. If she had a single adult in her life after her sister's death, be like, hey, how's it going?
Like, did the
Genuinely.
mom ever stop and be like, hey,
where's your daughter? You still have one kid that's alive. Where's she at?
Yeah, is she doing okay? Have you called her?
Literally. Has anybody heard from the kid that you have that is still on this earth?
The one that it was younger. The one that is not a legal
younger
adult.
one. Yeah, not a legal adult.
That you just left.
Doesn't have
at
a
home.
job, so maybe can't buy food on her own.
Like, isn't there one point where like the fridge is like legit empty?
Yeah. And all her friend was like, okay. And then when they came home from that party and he made her drink that OJ or whatever the juice was.
Yeah.
Not OJ Simpson. Orange juice. The fridge was still like empty.
Don't mind me. I'm just sitting here trying to rattle off in my brain different titles for this episode. I think my
Where was her
one...
mother?
yeah. Yeah.
Always royal. Where was her mother?
Mom is MIA, actually, yeah. So it's I think I'm either going with mother missing in action, or a Swedish thing.
I mean, we're 2 for 2.
Yeah. Listeners will see what I chose. Do you want to take us out? I think
I'd love to.
We petered out.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to keep up to date with when we release new episodes and other pod-related announcements, you can check out our Instagram or our threads at People Don't Talk About. And Anton just erased. Okay. Revolution will be our next episode. And with that, all that's left to say is, let's start a revolution, baby.
Wait, does that work if we're not talking about own rules? Whatever.
Sure. Why not?